Hello, and welcome to MetroArts. I am your host, Rachael Simone. Here on MetroArts, we highlight some of the best in the business, from fine artists, photographers, and performing artists to cinematographers and musical artists, all from the Metro Detroit area. On today's show, we have indie band Bliss, jewelry artist and business owner Rachael Adadevoh-Woods, and in our checking in segment, we'll talk to Veronica Callan from the Detroit Circus and Flyhouse Circus School. Let's welcome Nick Sapunis to Wayne State University's Midtown studio. Hi, Nick, how are you?
Hi, pretty good.
Good. Now, the name of the band is Bliss. Tell us about the meaning of the name.
Okay, well, my favorite color is gray, and I think it's a very neutral color. So I wanted this band that I thought about, conceptualized. I didn't want it to make any type of impressions that would lead to different genres or a specific type of music. So I wanted to be able to explore different musical genres myself. And so Gray Bliss, I think, is just a kind of a natural way to think about a band.
And can you describe the band's musical style?
Yeah, we play a lot of jazz progressions, a lot of pop melodies, a lot of bassy sounds, and there's a lot of elements of soul and garage music. So I would call our music kind of a garage soul or jazz pop.
Now, every artist has their thing that they do. So do you guys have any pre-gig rituals?
Not really rituals, but I guess we lug our equipment from our practice space to a show and then back. So that's something we do all together.
So far, what's been the favorite venue that you've all performed at and why?
I think the band agrees. I think Old Miami is a venue that we really like around here because there's not a specific scene attached to it, and the sound is very nice. The people that work there have a great hospitality attitude towards the musicians, and it's just a great time every time. And Rodriguez hangs out a lot there, so I guess that's something.
So how did you all get started with each other? What is your relationship to the other band members?
I met Daniel, that plays bass in the band, and Drew, that used to play drums, 3 years ago through a common friend that I went to Wayne State with. And later on, they moved into the building that I used to live in on Edsel Ford. And I met Mike, that plays the piano there, and I kind of found out that they play music and that they're in bands. And we became very close friends. And then after that, they offered me a slot for a show at the Magic Stick with opening for Honey Babe, Tax and Clade, and Killer Moon. And I played as a solo act back then. So after that show, they were all very excited, and they were like, oh, we should try and do a full band or something like that. And that's how we started practicing, and I'd show them some of the songs, which we ended up formulating all together. And then afterwards, at one of our first shows, Henry, that plays the drums now, came up to me and he was like, that was a really good set, I really like your music, and if you ever need a drummer or a guitarist or something, you should ask me. And then soon enough, like 2 months later, Drew found himself into 3 bands and with schoolwork and internships, so I kind of asked Henry to come and play with us, and we thought that it was a really, really good adaptation. So Drew was able to like stand back for a little bit, and Henry has been amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys are performing 2 songs today,
Yes.
These Days and Sunday Reveal. Can you tell us a little bit about the songs?
Yeah, actually, These Days is the first song I ever wrote for Gray Bliss as a kind of real, instead of instrumental music, as a full band music. So that was the first song I ever wrote, and it's gone a long way until I even showed it to those guys. But Sunday Revel is a song I wrote. It was after a night of partying, and I was working the next day. So I was at my job, and I was sitting there, and I was feeling like there's a lyric in the song that says, the chorus is, and Sunday comes around, and my feet are on the ground, but they can't keep up. I'm growing up. And it's kind of talking about how Sunday is the last day before you start your week, and that's when you think about everything that went during the week, and you're like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So it was kind of like, kind of a song that helped me a lot, yeah.
Okay. And how can people find out more about your music?
We have a Facebook under Gray Bliss Music, and we have a Bandcamp under Gray Bliss, and we have also SoundCloud under Gray Bliss Music, I believe, and that's pretty much it. We have a video on YouTube for our song The Other that we're not going to perform tonight.
Okay.
Today.
All right. Well, Nick, I'd like to thank you for being here. Up next, Gray Bliss will perform in studio. You're watching MetroArts on Detroit Public Television.
Don't let it take you down with it.
We'd like to welcome jewelry artist Rachael Adadevoh-Woods to Wayne State University and MetroArts. Hi, how are you, Rachael?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much.
Now, you were born in Ghana, and you
Yes.
spent some time living in England as well. So
Yes.
how did you end up here in Detroit?
Well, as a Ghanaian, we travel and go places where we have family. So when I left England, I was with a cousin of mine. There was another cousin here at Wayne State, so I decided to visit, and the rest is history.
So how long have you been designing and creating this jewelry?
I've been actually around jewelry since I was born. In Ghana, it's part of our culture. When you're born, they put the bracelets on your legs and your hands, and you just grow up with the love of jewelry. It's adornment, and that is part of our culture. So my mother, as we were growing up, she would tie, beads on our hands, whatever occasion there was.
And where do you find the materials to create these pieces?
I'm fortunate that I travel a lot, for my business. So I pick up pieces from all over the world. Yeah, I can even say that this piece I bought in Italy about 3 years ago. You can't go to Italy and not buy a cross. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Now, I happen to be wearing one of your lovely pieces. So you have some very unique designs. Where does the inspiration come from them?
Well, my inspiration originally started when I worked, at fine jewelry stores, and the prices were a little exorbitant. So I decided to make things that the average person, could buy. Also, just using gemstones. They may not be the highest quality, but it makes the prices affordable. So the pearls are freshwater pearls. There's onyx, but they're just pieces that the average person off the street can just buy. And just to, make an outfit look good. Yeah.
Now, you still do have family in Ghana. Are any of them artists like you?
You know what? We're all born with that, creative, blood in us. We improvise, so we take whatever it is and just make something out of it. So there's a lot of talent in the continent.
How do you think your culture has influenced your designs?
I think beauty may be a little bit different from European. We believe in color, color and mixing up color. You could wear orange with blue, it doesn't matter. It's just pretty, for us. We don't just do plain, yeah. So it's just something that we're born with, and once you're born with it, it's just something that you cannot change.
Now, you have a store location in Birmingham, Art Loft, and you just recently opened a store in Midtown. How did you decide to get that location?
Yeah. So I've had my store in Birmingham for about 18 years, and Detroit has gone through some major not so good stuff. I'm not going to say, So I've been listening, and when you own a business, you cannot stay stagnant. You have to grow, or you go big or you go home. So I decided about 5 years ago that I was going to improve, build my business. I took some time to think about it, and when things started growing in Detroit, I took some time and I went out and I looked, and there was a perfect spot that actually had been mentioned to me about 2.5 years ago. So it was waiting for me. It was just meant to be. So I decided it was time to do it.
Do you have any plans on opening up stores in maybe different states?
That was my original plan. But, trying to travel to a place maybe 2, 3, 4 hours away, it's not that easy. So Detroit is my first jaunt, like outside of Birmingham, that I thought, 20 minutes, I can handle that.
Do you send any of your jewelry back to your family in Ghana?
Once in a while, I do, and they appreciate, my work. Yeah.
So how can people find out more about your creations?
Well, definitely in the stores, one in Birmingham, one in Midtown. They can also check my website, artloftonline.com, and they can call us. I also do custom work, so if somebody has an outfit that they want a special, piece for, They can call me at my number 248-647-4007. That's for the Birmingham store. And then in Midtown, it's 313-818-0023.
Rachel, I'd like to thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
You're watching Metro Arts on Detroit Public Television. And now, let's check in with Veronica Callan from the Detroit Circus and Flyhouse Circus School. Welcome back to MetroArts Detroit.
I'm so happy to be here again.
I'm happy you're here too. So let's talk about what the Detroit Circus is.
The Detroit Circus is the performance troupe that comes out of the Detroit Flyhouse Circus School. And so we, all of the teachers at the school are also performers.
Okay. And we have a video that shows some of the acts. Let's watch. Now that video showed a lot of performances. What other type of events do you guys do?
We do events big and small. So we will be hired into the Fillmore or the Cobo for the auto show, or we do small things. So if you're having a party and you want performers in your backyard, we can do things in the air, we can do things on the ground, and everything.
So who created the Detroit Circus?
Misha Adams-Buss and her husband Matt Buss started the Detroit Flyhouse and Circus School about 8 years ago. And they've just created a wonderful community of people and a really supportive environment so that if you wanted to learn something just for fun or have a party there, or if you wanted to become a performer, we have teachers and space for all of those things.
You guys do some amazing things, but what's been one of your most exciting moments?
I was trying to think, and all of them are pretty exciting because every time the curtain goes up or anytime you walk out on stage, there's all these people waiting to be entertained, and it's frightening at first. So for me, the most exciting thing was just getting over that initial fear, but everybody wants to be entertained. So you walk out there and everybody's so ready and willing and waiting for you to entertain them that it's just an incredible experience to be able to do that.
Now, how did you get involved with the Detroit Circus?
I went for the first time for a yoga class. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I saw all the other amazing things that they were doing. So I started with partner acrobatics, and then I moved on to the aerial. And for me, it was very frightening. I was not generally good at it to begin with at all. But it just became a passion, and it was a way for me to work out, and it was a way for me to socialize, and it was a way for me to just get over some of my personal fears. And went from there. So I studied pretty intensely for a few years. I had taught yoga and martial arts before that, and took that into a new way of teaching.
And can you tell us about the connection between the Detroit Circus and Detroit Flyhouse?
Yeah, the Detroit Flyhouse is the school, so everyone is welcome. We've had students from as young as 6, 7 years old to 80-year-old woman that wants to get up there, and we will accommodate all that, all body sizes, all experience levels. So that is the Flyhouse is the school, and the Detroit Circus is the troupe, and the teachers who teach at the school are also part of the troupe.
And what can students expect when they come to the school?
Oh, it's really fun. So as far as the class goes, we warm up and we try some things on the equipment. And it's really up to you what you want to get out of it. So we offer a lot of options, and sometimes the students will be like, I'm not ready for that, it's very scary. So we have other things that they can try until they're ready to do that. So you can expect it to be kind of raucous if it's a big class with people cheering each other on and just generally having a good time. And you can expect a little bit of soreness the next day.
Now, are there any requirements or age limits for the students?
There are not, no. We can tie a knot on a silk that's right off the ground, and you can step on it and start doing poses within a couple of minutes. So we just require that the students be able to follow directions and just be present in that moment. So anyone who's willing to try it is welcome to come, and you'll have a fantastic experience.
So what's in store for the future for the Detroit Circus and Detroit Flyhouse?
We're always expanding. Right now, our classes are full every session. Our next session of classes go online, so we put them up every few months, and everything sells out. People have such a great time. So we also offer workshops, and we just keep expanding. We have face painting available now. As we've learned to face paint ourselves for shows, now we're off face painting other people, and more shows, more classes, more fun.
How can people learn more about the Detroit Circus and Detroit Flyhouse?
They can go to DetroitFlyhouse.com, DetroitCircus.org, or email Misha at MICHA@DetroitFlyhouse.com. We're located in the Eastern Market, so if you stop by and the door is open, take a peek.
All right, I'd like to thank you for being here with us. Now, producer Justine Coven goes on location to show us even more about the Circus School. You're watching MetroArts Detroit, produced in the Midtown studio at Wayne State University.
I entered the Detroit Flyhouse School with no idea what was in store for me. Veronica had several tricks in mind to teach me. I attempted to follow her instructions the best I could, despite having some injuries. I discovered firsthand just how much circus tricks require great arm, core, and leg strength. You have to let go of the ropes and let go of your fears of falling down. I made many mistakes at first, and it took a while to conquer my fears. Each time I practiced a trick, I got better and braver. I struggled until I was able to succeed. Even though I was nervous at first, I ended up having a lot of fun. Reporting for MetroArts, I'm Justine Coven.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. I would like to thank our guests, Bliss, Rachael Adadevoh-Woods, and Veronica Callan for being here today. Remember, you can catch any of our shows online at MetroArtsDetroit.com and find us on social media. I'm your host on MetroArts, Rachel Simone, reminding you to always remain open and embrace the arts in your community.